everyone. This is Rochelle Rosenberg. So welcome again to the Saturday live stream, fellowship live stream. And yesterday has been festival of week, and even today, it's called Shavuot or called the Festival of Weeks, and the transliteration of Hebrew to English. But since the Bible is concerned in English, it's called um, Pentecost. Okay, in the Christian world, it's called Pentecost. And today we are having the weekly portion, Naso, preparation for the journey in Numbers 4, 21, 7 to 89. So if you all have your Bibles there, you can just follow our reading in Naso, preparations of the journey, and every point that we will have here has its corresponding Bible verses. Okay, so just gonna start with our topic, and this is gonna be interesting. So, by the way, I thank you so much, guys, for being here, and it's such a wonderful time to have you all. So, welcome to the fellowship live stream and Psalm 119:97. Oh, how I love you, Lord! It is my meditation all the day. So let's just start to pray with the text that you can see on the front of this over here. I think, yeah. From the beginning, before the study, we have the prayer. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who sanctifies us with thy commandments and commanded us to engross ourselves in the words of the Torah. All right. So in Hebrew, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzipur la'asok b'divrei Torah. So that's it. And we're gonna be starting. So we're gonna be talking about the preparations on the journey. And in the second book of the Numbers, the narrative begins as God instructs Moses to complete his count, naso in Hebrew. So the counting numbers is about the counting of the different tribes of the Levi and the priests, and what they have to do, what are their corresponding works, and what are the different obligations that they have. All right. So the Torah then records certain laws pertaining to the purification process that the Jews needed to undergo before setting out from the Mount Sinai toward the land of Israel. Finally, the Torah records the offerings that the tribal princes donated on the day of the tabernacle was erected and began to function their offerings, emphasized how the Jewish people upcoming journey through the desert as well as each individual's journey through life. To fulfill his or her divine mission must be both an individual and collective experience. So there's an individual's journey through life. We have been given a journey from God, but it is also our effort that makes it that gives it a meaning, so that we can have cooperation with God. All right. So before we're gonna start with the point one, I just want to give you this song. All right, so that's the song "This Little Light of Mine." Now let's gonna get into the topic. But the first point is avoiding the negative. Okay, right. So if you have notes, there in the description box below, there are more Bible verses that you can read by yourself, and you can even try to search them by yourself in the Bible. We have both the Old Testament and the New Testament uh, registered or written down below the description box if you are interested on the topic of today. So just get on with your paper and pen, and let's gonna jump into this topic. Okay, so now avoiding the negative and pursuing the positive. Okay, so God told Moses, take a census of the clan of Gershon. That's in Numbers 4:22. So take a census of the clan of Gershon. And God told that to Moses. There are two steps in preparing one's home for an esteemed guest. First, the rooms are scrubbed clean. Then they are decorated with beautiful furnishings and works of art. The same two steps apply to how we make our lives and ourselves into a home for God. First, we rid our lives of what is negative and undesirable, and then we do what is good and right. The clan of Gershon carried the outer coverings of the tabernacle, which protected it from undesirable elements. This corresponds to our job of avoiding harmful activities and influences. The clan of Kehat, on the other hand, carried the furnishings of the tabernacle, each of which represents a particular positive attribute and activity. Just as Gershon was born before Kehat, it is necessary to first cleanse oneself of negative behavior in order to be able to properly pursue good. Nonetheless, the clan of Kehat was counted before that of Gershon, since cleansing oneself of negativity is only a preparation for the true work pursuing good. So we're gonna jump into the Bible verse of this topic about Numbers 4:22. Okay. So the Gershon take a census of the sons of Gershon, of them too, following their fathers' houses according to their families. The This is the service of the Gershonite families to serve and to carry. Okay, they shall carry the curtains of the Mishkan and the tent of meeting, its covering, and the takhash, skin covering overlaid upon it, and the screen for the entrance of the tent of meeting. So the work of the Gershonite family is to carry out the outer the outer furnishings, the decorations of the home, the curtains, okay, and the tent of meeting. So they are the carrier of the tent, the whole stuff, and the curtain that covers. But it also means that for us, we have something to change. We have to change the negative characters from ourselves, and we have to pursue the positive in our lives. We have to pursue what is the positive in our characters and change our mindset, because it is one thing that will reflect our willingness to pursue what is good, and it is our willingness also that reflects on how much we want to know God. All right. So, since negativity is only a preparation for a true work, so if you want to do something in your life, you have to first check out yourself and prepare yourself into a true work. For example, before you want to go to work, of course, you have to check yourself. Am I dressed well? Am I how do I perform myself before I go to perform a work, you know? And you always have to be presentable, of course. So that's why we have to change our outer attributes first before we gonna prepare ourselves to through devotion. Okay, now let's gonna get into the topic number 2, and that is the foundation of everything. Okay, second reading, Numbers 4:29 to 49. That's the same, and that is number 4, 24 to 29. Now, this is the thing that I have read. I think I'm in number 4, and we're gonna go to 29. On the 29, as for the sons of Merari, you shall count them by their families according to their father's house. This is the charge of the burden for all their service in the tent of meeting, the planks of the Mishkan, its bars, its pillars, and its sockets. So the pillars of the surrounding courtyard, their sockets, their pegs, and the ropes, all the implements for all the work involved, you shall designate by the name and implement charges to them for their burden. So this also means that every members of a family, when we serve God, are part of our mission. They are part of the mission. We are not the only one involved in the mission, but even our family has its role and has its designated work to do. So you should not be the only one working. It involves the whole family. So in this reading, all right, Josephine Gimoro, shout out to you, Mommy Jo. Okay, so the foundation of everything, the clan of Merari carried the skeletal part of the tabernacle because they have to carry um, the sock. Oh, how you say? The service was that they have to bring the pillar, the planks, and its socket. So in the first, we have known now that Gershonites have to carry the curtains and the tent. Okay, the main tent, and that is their job alone. They cannot carry other stuff because they have the designated job to do. And then the clan of Merari have to carry the skeleton of the tent and its sockets, which is very important to recognize in our lives. Thank you, Mami Jo. Thank you po. Okay. The planks that form the walls, together with their bases and connecting poles, the walls were the least functional of all the components of the tabernacle. But they made up its essential frame, the environment in which all of the more glamorous activities took place. In our lives, the framework and basis of our relationship with God is our selfless devotion to His will. While this is the least of glamorous aspect of our relationship with God, it is the foundation upon which all the other more appealing or exciting aspects rest. So when it comes to these things, we have to always remember that there is a foundation of everything. Whenever you want to change a thing in your life or in your character, you want to change something in your life, you have to at least change first your outer core. and your outer core must be your character. And it's not easy to change your character in one day, but it's gradually you can change yourselves, your character, your mindset, your perspective, and that is avoiding the negative. Whenever you know that you are good in speaking evil about others, or whenever you know yourself that you have a negative mindset about yourself and about other people, or that you have all these kind of negative things, you should avoid those and try to pursue what is positive. Try the positive things in your life. Whenever your mindset is negative, all things falls. Everything else in your surrounding will fall, because it attracts it, it attracts the negativity from your outside. And for you to become the light of the world, you should explode in lightness. You should explore pursuing the positive traits in you and change those negative into a world of positive. So that is the foundation of everything. If you want to have a foundation of something that you want to change in your life, you have to start with your own self. Manage your own self and your family by starting to show a good example in front of them. So let's get back to the next topic. The number three, counteracting negativity. And the third is numbers 5, 1 to 10. So I'll just gonna grab my Bible to numbers 5. Why is my hair here? Everywhere. It's like my hair is everywhere. Like I do not know. 5, 1 to 10. Okay, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, command the children of Israel to banish from the camp all those afflicted with Sara'at, or with a male discharge, and all those unclean through contact with the dead. Both male and female you shall banish, you shall send them outside the camp, and they not defile their camps in which I dwell among them. The children of Israel did so. They sent them outside the camp as the Lord had spoken to Moses, so did the children of Israel do. The Lord then spoke to Moses, saying, tell the children of Israel. Okay, so that's in Numbers 5, 6, and 7. I should read. Tell the children of Israel, when a man or woman commits any of the sins against man to act treacherously against God, and that person is found guilty, they shall confess the sin they committed and make restitution for the principal amount of his guilt and its fifth to it, and give it to one against whom he was guilty. So one thing that I would share about this is I had some problems with my characters before, and this word is about having sin, or if you feel guilty, and it is required that we have to regret and we have to ask forgiveness. And not only that, um, one example is that I usually took a lot of stuff from the internet. For example, I take pictures that are not mine, I just download them, or that I download music from YouTube and I take them for myself and use them for myself. And actually, that is stealing. Or sometimes, before, I used to take stuff just on the street. I know it's not mine, and I know it was lost by someone, but I took it and say that it is mine because I found it. But according to the Bible, that is a negative. That is a negative character, because we know ourselves that the things that we found is not ours, and still we are taking it. And the word says here that we have to confess. We have to confess what we have done, and then confession means as well that we have to admit that we have done it. We don't need to deny anymore, and we don't need to hide anymore. We have to show and tell that here is the things that I have stole, and I ask for forgiveness. And as well as we return it, the Bible says we have to restitute plus fifth on it. So it's a double portion because the person who lost it might be worried, where is their property, and then suddenly it's in your possession. So if somehow you are caught, if it's a big amount and you are caught taking stuff from that is not from yours, then you could fall into court. You could fall into court. Okay. Mother Peterson, thank you so much for being here. Confession. Yan. Truth will set you free. Ayon. All right. So, if we have wronged a fellow human being in some way, we must first ask their forgiveness. There is a word that says, Jesus says like this, before you pray and ask for forgiveness, leave your gift in the altar, and then return and ask for forgiveness to that person, and then return to the altar and offer and pray. And also remember that the prayer of our Father who are in heaven, this prayer as well recognizes that we have to ask for forgiveness because before God will forgive us. It is very important to emphasize and to stress out on my part to encourage you that whenever you have done something, ask directly forgiveness from that person. I know that it is a matter of pride, and I am not alone. You are not alone. I have also dealt with that many times in my life before. And I have trained myself that whenever I did wrong, I have to ask for forgiveness, no matter how shameful it feels for me, no matter how embarrassing it feels for me. Because what's important is that the true forgiveness that I ask does not require that I ask something back. It requires that I must be free from the evil conscience and the evil inclination so that I can have peace. Okay? And then we must restore the item or pay for any damage we cause. Then we must apologize to God through repentance. Repentance consists of three steps. Number one is regret for the past. Number two is positive resolution for the future and verbal confession to God of the misdeed. And you can read that in the prayer of Yeshua. It says, "Our Father who art in heaven." Whenever you read that, recognize every sentence that speaks about how you have to ask for forgiveness, because there are many mindset in our lives right now that we mostly ask for forgiveness only when it's late, or sometimes in hidden way. Of course, when you cannot find the person, then there is no other way you can ask for forgiveness but to ask forgiveness from God. It is very important to remember that whenever we do wrong on other people, we just don't do it to them. We also do it against God, because there is a commandment that says, love your fellow. Love your fellow as yourself. And as you love yourself, you would always want that when someone do something to you, they would ask for forgiveness. So counteract the negativity by fighting that negative part of yourself, that whenever you do something wrong, don't be full of pride. So every misdeed creates negative energy which has a body and a soul. The body of this energy is the misdeed itself. The body of the wrong thing that you did creates creates a bad energy. It creates bad relationship. So once you did something wrong to others, it destroys your relationship with them. It destroys their trust, you know, while its soul is the last that caused the misdeed. The soul is the last. So for example, before you did the mistake, for a certain it was wrong, but then you had the urge is the last that pushes you to do that. And even though sometimes we don't mean it, it is our natural animal inclination that want to do that. So confessing verbally destroys the body and restores the relationship, you know. So physically using our mouth destroys the body of the negative energy, and it restores us again, maybe not the same, but it will restore us gradually, so that the person will realize, this person is serious when she says sorry. Okay, Don Platon, Privet. All right. Happy Sabbath po sa inyo. Ayan, nandito naman po si Carlene, si Bernadette Mamangon nandiyan din po. And yung si Don Platon, ang Don Platon, Privet. And salamat naman sa inyo at nandiyan po kayo. And now let's go to who in their right mind. Who in their right mind? Ayan. Let's go to Numbers 5:11. Numbers 5:11. And the word says, kanina ko pa pala yun. 5:12 na pala. 5:12. Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, should any man's wife go astray and deal treacherously with him, and a man lie with her carnally, but it was hidden from her husband's eyes, but she was secluded with the suspected adulterer, and there was no witness against her, and she was not seized. But the spirit of jealousy had come upon him and become jealous of his wife, and she was defiled of a spirit of jealousy had come upon him, and he was jealous of his wife, and she was not defiled. So this chapter pertains about the rules of a family. As I have told you, numbers is not just field of clan numbers or the community census. It is also filled with community guidelines about how a family should live, how a husband and wife should live together, how a husband should treat his wife, how a wife should treat her husband, and if the both are serving God, how shall they reflect their lives for their children and for the community that surround them? And this is very important to remember as a follower of Yeshua, because we must always remember that our words, the way we interact with the world, reflects how we are as a parent to our children. Our children looks at us as an example. If you are a parent that tries to please as much as possible as everyone, it will teach a child that that is the right character, that is the right mind to deal with everyone, which does not um, which is not permitted actually in the Bible. In the Bible, which is permitted is that you must have a little bit of strict rules and guidelines for your children, so that they will know who is God in your life. And on this part, when it comes to this reading, who is in their right mind, in Numbers 5:12, it is about a terrible act of a woman. For example, you can see here that should any man's wife go astray and deal treacherously with him. So in the grammar here, it speaks as well that the woman goes astray. So she has a plan. She's married, and she planned to deal falsely against her husband, behind her husband, and she's trying to commit adultery, or not trying, but she's committing already. Uh, One example of this is just by looking on other men while you are married, and then um, as much as possible, most of the people or women that tries to how you say to destroy their marriage, women that betray their marriage are actually doing it secretly. Okay, because first they are doing it secretly, and they pretend that everything is fine in their family. But it is very clearly seen that when once a woman is starting to commit adultery, she's starting to forget her chores to her husband, to her children, and gradually she destroys her own home. There is a proverbs that says, a woman a woman's hand can build, and a woman's hand can destroy. And I believe in that, because um, if a woman is the mother in the family, she can either build it and make it a home, or otherwise she can destroy it and make it a pancake. I don't know. What's the pancake gonna do with this? I don't know. My mind is in the pancake. Maybe I'm hungry. But anyway, that's the thing we have to remember. Um, ang buhay po ng isang may asawang babae ay napakahalaga, dahil mayroon siyang kapangyarihan na magbuo ng pamilya at magsira ng kanyang sariling pamilya. So tatandaan natin na ang gawain ng isang babae na may asawa, na kapag siya ay mayroong plano na traidorin ng kanyang buhay may asawa, siya ay kumikilos ng palihim. Paano yon? Ang palihim na pagkilos niya ay patingin-tingin sa ibang lalaki. At hindi naman masama yung humanga ka sa kagwapuhan o kagandahan ng postura ng ibang tao. Kasi kagaya sa akin, hinahangaan ko kapag gwapo o maganda. Pero ang paninira kasi sa buhay may asawa ay, for example, nagpaplano na makipagkita doon sa lalaki kahit na alam na makikipagkita ng personal. Nakalagay dito sa Numbers 5, no? Pagbabasahin po natin Numbers 5, um, Numbers 5, 13. Ayan, and a man lie with her carnally, but it was hidden from her husband's eyes. But she was secluded. So magkasama sila. Ito yung adultery. And there was no witness against her. And she was not seized. So ito, minsan iniisip ng tao, paano nalalaman ng asawa? Kailangan ba na magsasabi? Hindi. Kahit walang magsasabi, mayroong spirit of jealousy na pupunta doon sa lalaki. Kasi parang yun yung tinatawag nating instinct, na bigla na lang nararamdaman ng lalaki na mayroong kakaiba, hindi ba? So there is a spirit of jealousy that come upon the man and become jealous of his wife. And that jealousy as well, the spirit of jealousy, is sometimes what we call the instinct. So sometimes we think, how come that he knew when I did not tell him? So it's very important that as a Kohen, or as a follower, as a priestly follower of God or of Yeshua, we should have a big trust issue with God. We should learn to respect our family as we portray the message. We portray the message of the gospel. Shabbat Shalom, Godwill Siringwani. Shabbat Shalom, Godwill Siringwani. It's good to meet you. All right. So now we're gonna go to the next, the same act, and the same act and different intentions. Okay, we have our friend here, Godwill Siringwani, and I believe that you have a wonderful Shabbat Shalom over there. And as for me here in Sweden, it is now 9:46, soon gonna be 10 o'clock in the morning. And I'm so much pleased to have you, Goodwill Siringwani, as well, together with our friend, it's me, Carlin, Mommy Josephine Gimoro, and Model Peterson, Don Plankton, and the rest of our friends in the background, right? So just get along with our topic for today. And if you are interested to read some more, please go to the description box. There are the Bible verses you can get in touch with. We have the New Testament written down below as well in that description box. Okay, so we're gonna get back to the topic on number 5, same act, different intentions. Now let's gonna go to number 7, 13. So I am using the Sepharia Bible. Let me see. So if you are interested in reading the Bible in Hebrew, it requires, I don't know if it requires internet. Let me see. If I turn off my internet, I don't know if this will work. Yeah, it requires internet. There is a Sepharia online. So now we'll go to number 7. So this is the Bible that I am using, and it looks like this. Okay, let me see, number 7, 13. Okay, number 7, 13, we're gonna read, his offering, 1 silver, weighing 130 shekels. This is the first, there was a first one who represented his offering on the first day was Nashon, son of Aminadab of the tribe of Judah. So there was the first offering already came, 130 shekels, and one silver basin of 70 shekels by the sanctuary weight, both filled with choice flour with all mixed in for a meal offering. And this is regarding as well with the Shavuot, I think, for the wave offering. It's a 2 loaves and they have to wave it in the temple. So the Torah could have simply given the details of one prince offering and then stated the same offering was brought by all 12 leaders. The reason that it does not is because each prince initiated the altar into a different way of elevating the physical world and drew a different type of spiritual energy into the world, corresponding to the spiritual nature of his tribe. So, whenever we make an offering, it represents our whole family. It represents um, the willingness of the family to contribute in what you do. So, similarly, we all recite the same words in our prayers and perform more or less the same commandments. Yet at the same time, we are individuals. We are not only permitted to express our own individual feelings and intent in our prayers and in our performance of the commandments, we are required to do so. So we are required. Furthermore, just as the Torah repeats the same words, but each time the inner meaning is different. So, do you get it? The Torah repeats the same words, but each time the inner meaning is different. It's like whenever you read the word, most of the time you read the Bible, from the last time you read it, you get a different meaning. The Spirit of God gave you something. And then the next time you read the same Bible chapter again, and then there was again another meaning, right? So the Spirit of God constantly gives us the teaching, constantly forms us. So we are intended to bring new meaning to the actions and words that we repeat daily. Everyday's prayers and deeds should reflect the unique spiritual accomplishment we have made since the last time we prayed or performed them. So there is a different tasks that we do whenever we pray, and sometimes maybe our prayers can be repetitive, but always remember to think about the things that you did in a day and try to elaborate them in the prayer. Try to speak of them and try to elaborate the words that you read from the Bible, and remember to consider all the works that your family had also contributed to make that whole day meaningful. Sometimes we may think that because our children just sat down in the sofa means that they have not contributed anything. There is something they have contributed. For example, there must be a physical or emotional, all of these things matters in serving our God, because serving our God does not just consist on the day that we have a Shabbat reading or the moment when we are reading the daily manna, but also in the daily routine, in the hourly life. So now let's go to the fifth reading, or the sixth, I mean. The Torah makes the world alive. All right. So do you agree that the Torah makes the world alive? I do. I do. When I started to read the Torah, I started to become serious with my faith in 2010. I started to realize that I was a believer, but I was kind of dead, and it's a little bit discouraging for me to realize that, because most of the time I thought that I know the Bible and I've learned it, but it was different to dedicate yourself rather than just knowing it and reading it. Knowing it and reading it can make you puff up, can make you proud, can make you um, can make you, how you say, it can make your character filled with nasty things against other people. It can even um, put down other people. I was kind of good in interacting with many believers, and to make it honest, the words that I have shared before I become very serious in my faith, before I am very dedicated, I become very judgmental, and I hurt so many people's heart. I hurt so many people's lives. And I know in the back of my mind that I must have destroyed lives as well due to my careless speech. You know, Although I was showing a godly living, or that I am a Christian, I don't do things that other people are, or bad people are doing, but still my mouth was continually full of sin. My mind was continually filled with the nasty and pervert things. So when I started to learn the Torah, it it suddenly turned my world around. You know, the word in the book of Acts, it made my world downside up. I say it's not upside down or downside up. However, but it's upside down or downside up. But anyway, it makes my world alive, because I realized from the small things, from my smallest character that I did not knew of, or that I did not care about, was one of the foundation that could change me gradually. And it's very interesting to realize that life itself, whenever you become serious in the study of Torah, you get new perspective. You learn to become more soft. You learn to become more gentle. You learn to become more understanding. And you don't gain it in one day. Because most of the time before, I usually say, be gentle, be kind, be true, be loving. But I have never performed them by myself. So I have learned through the years gradually to change my life. So the Torah makes the world alive. So the prince brought two types of offerings, like objects: silver and gold vessels, flour, oil, and incense, and animals, bulls, sheep, and goats as an offering. The lifeless objects were not consumed by the heavenly fire that descended onto the altar, whereas the animals were consumed by this fire entirely or partially. The lifeless object thus symbolizes the lifeless era before the giving of the Torah, when physicality could not be infused with divinity. The consumption of the animals by divine fire symbolizes our present post Sinai era, in which physical objects and the physical world in general can be sanctified through the tabernacle and its successor, the holy temple, and through the sanctuary for God, that we all construct ourselves, our lives, and our sphere of influence. Divine vitality is revealed in the physical world. So if you want the Torah to make the world alive, it is very important to convey your message, to convey the message of the changes in your own self. Start with reflecting by our own, and without a benefit in return, because God sees what changed in you. And you will be amazed, because once you change a few years from now, you will see the differences of who you were before. And it is one good thing, because it reflects the representation of your family. And remember that whenever you do that, you represent your family indeed. All right. So, mm, number seven, the seventh point, we have hearing the voice. Number seven, hearing the voice. And this is the last reading, since we don't have so much reading this week because of the Shavuot. And the reading of the Shavuot is also in the description box. And at this Shavuot reading, we should be reading the book of Ruth, and you can read that in your respective homes, and read it with your family, together with our brethren. All right. So after concluding its account of the prince offering, the Torah describes how God spoke to Moses inside the tabernacle. Moses would hear God's voice as loud as it had been heard on Mount Sinai, but the sound miraculously stopped at the entrance of the tent of meeting, thus no one outside could hear it. Isn't it that impact? That's very, very private, because Moses is in the inside tent, and remember that the tent um, is just a textile, it's a fabric, and still the voice couldn't be heard outside, because there is a privacy conversation. There is a changes of communication, because there's already been a relationship. There had been a discipline in the time in the life of Moses. So when Moses would come into the tent of meetings, so God could speak with him, he would hear his voice. So it's number 7, 7 to 8. Okay. Am I in the right? Number 7. and 7 to 8. That is Bemidbar. Why am I? Okay. Anyway, I think that was on the wrong. It should be number 7, 84 to 89. Maybe it's on the last. Okay. It's not easy to find the stuff whenever you have glasses and there's a lot of things in front of you. Anyway, um, when Moses would come into the tent of meeting, so God could speak with him. So there's also a dedication. As I have said a while ago, if you also want to hear the voice of God will not just speak to you in that manner. The voice of God comes to you whenever you quiet your life. What I mean with that is if you have too much activity in a day, there are things that consumes your time. Lessen them, lessen and calm it down because if you are too busy, all the things that could register in your mind are just the things that you are occupied of. For example, let's say we are too much busy nowadays in looking to Facebook, scrolling up, and scrolling down. Busy in watching too much Netflix. It can sometimes can consume us in a day, and there are unnecessary things. The mobile and the computer is not bad as everyone portrays it to, but what should portray in that is the study of the Torah. In the whole week, we have the 7 days. Those days were divided in 24 hours. And those days, there's a daily manna to read. Or if you want the audio, you can as well listen to an audio. But the thing is, there must be a dedication. Without the dedication, you cannot hear the voice. I'll give you an example. If you are a married person, or before you got married, if you are a man and if you are a woman, whenever you meet each other, you sometimes leave the stuff that you are busy of and try to meet that person and try to give time to that person. And from there, you learn to build a trust for each other. You learn to build a relationship. You learn to know each other's likes and dislikes. And it's the same thing with God. Whenever you are, and then whenever you are married, it's more closer, it's more intimate because from that from that time when you are married, you have each other every day. You know exactly which are the buttons that the person do not like and dislike. You actually know much more about the person, maybe not a lot, but at least for the first 3 years, you know a little bit about your partner or your spouse. So it's the same thing with God. There must be a dedication, a dedication of time. Because the dedication of time means that while you are studying, there's nothing else around you. There's nothing else that would distract you. There's nothing else propped into your ear. Whenever we say that we want to study or we want to study the Torah, we want to hear God's voice, what we should do is to silence everything and let's focus. Let's focus. If we are using the computer to study, just put on what is needed to be read. Just put on what is needed to be done and have a discipline because the self-dedication is a discipline. It's like even if I am married and I don't have a communication and time with my husband, still our marriage can be dead. I can be a parent And if I don't give time to my son or to my daughter and speak with them, still my relationship with them is kind of dead, because there is a dedication. It says here, when Moses would come into the tent of meeting, so God could speak with him, he would hear his voice. Do you think God would speak with him if he didn't come inside of the tent? Of course not. God wouldn't, because in the first place, God says, there is a time that we will meet inside this tent, and I want you to build this place. It's like, I want you to prepare this place so I could meet you there. It's like it is like a portrait of a person, of a man and a woman getting married. There is a preparation of them for a home, and that is where they're gonna meet, and that is where the priest is coming in and blessing the two, and they are already in the sanctification of their relationship. So it's the same with us. So much as we might wish it, we cannot be allowed to hear God's voice everywhere and at all times. If we could, we would be deprived of our freedom of choice. A world in which God's voice is constantly heard does not challenge its population. It was God's desire to create a world of divine silence. See what I told you? Divine silence, in which through our efforts we can uncover God's concealed voice. It is our task to take what we heard during that short period at Mount Sinai and within that small space of the tabernacle. And each of us has heard God's voice somewhere and at some time, however fleetingly, and transmit it to the rest of time and space. It's very important to understand that this divine silence create a huge impact change in our soul, in our family, in our environment. It is very important that the word or the voice of God is not just something that we literally hear. This voice is something that is going to be heard from your inside. Whenever you want to do something that is good or that is right in the sight of God, then the Lord's Spirit will come upon you just like this, and it will give you all the insights. You don't know where they're coming from. All the insights. And no matter how messy your surrounding is, no matter how many problems you have, no matter what difficulties you have, hearing the voice of God can give you the power to rise up. So learn to have this divine silence, and it will change your life forever, right? So so this is the 7 points, and we're gonna return again for reminding you the topic. The first is avoiding the negative, pursuing the positive, and the reading is Numbers 4:21 and 28. The second is the foundation of everything, all right? And the third is counteracting negativity. Counteracting negativity. And the number four, who in their right mind? And same act, different intentions. The Torah makes the world alive, and hearing the voice. It's important to have this silence. So never forget. Never forget. All right. So I want to give you a short song before we could end this. We are now in 1 hour, and I'm so much glad that you are here. So now we have finished the the reading. So before I would go to the song, I would like that we should read the after Torah prayer. Okay. Okay. Blessed are you, Lord, our God, King of the universe, who gave us the Torah of truth, Yeshua, our Messiah, and set everlasting life in our mind. Blessed are you, O Lord, giver of the Torah. Yeah. So I was kind of reading, but it's very, very small text, so I have to check it. Yeah. All right. So let's just listen to the song Every Voice. All right, so now that is Every Voice, and now we're gonna sing the song. Oh, yeah. I didn't realize that my table is on. So this is a song from James Block and Healing in His Wings. Turn your hearts, my children, to your fathers and their faith, to Abraham and Isaac and the covenants I made. To you the sun will rise with healing in his wings. Wicked shall be ashes underneath your feet. Remember my commandments, for all my children they're the same. Elijah will remind you to listen and obey. All right, now we're gonna go to Laura's Story. Laura's Story is one of the songs that are very encouraging. Hello to my husband, David Lomberius. Think positive. We pray for blessing. We pray for blessings. We pray for peace. Comfort for a family. Protection while we sleep. for healing, for prosperity. We pray for your mighty hand to ease our suffering. And all the while you hear each spoken need. Your love is way too much to give us lesser things. 'Cause what if your blessings come through raindrops? What if your healing comes through tears? What if the thousand sleepless nights are what it takes to know your need? What if trials of this life are your mercies in disguise? Oh, David, why do you do that? No. David, don't do that. Oh no.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you so much, David. Thank you so much. I love you, baby. Hi. You make me cry with that. We pray for wisdom, your voice to hear. We cry in anger when we cannot feel you near. Without your goodness, without your love, as if every promise from your word is not enough. And all the while you hear each desperate plea, as long that we have faith to believe. 'Cause what if your blessings come through raindrops? What if your healing comes through tears? What if the thousand sleepless nights are what makes you know you're near? What if trials of this life are your mercies in disguise? When friends betray us, when darkness seems to win, we know the pain reminds us. This heart now, this is not our home. It's not our home. 'Cause what if your blessings come through us? What if your healing comes through tears? 'Cause what if the thousand sleepless nights are what it takes to know you're near? What if brings disappointment? 'Cause what if my greatest disappointment, or the aching of this life, is the revealing of the greater thirst this world can't satisfy? 'Cause what if trials of this life, the rain, the storm, the hardest nights, are your mercy from Russia. Привет. Привет, Sasha. It's good to see you, Sasha. All right, so that's the song from Laura's story. And we're gonna give you again another song. Let me see. Let me find something that is maybe something you know. Okay, this is another song. When you want to pray 1,000 prayers, digital fanboy, shout out to you. This is Sasha and digital fanboy. Thank you so much. Still can find the answers anywhere. Fighting off the life that no one cares. Anyone who's out there losing the hope, feeling you're forsaken and alone, clinging to the last strand of your rope. May God give you eyes to see He is still greater. Courage to rise and believe He's able. May God be your peace in the fire you're walking through. This is my prayer now. This is my prayer for you. For all of those with tired and weary souls, still have faith to ask for miracles, choosing to believe He's in control. May God give you eyes to see He is still greater. Courage to rise and believe He's able. May God be your peace in the fire you're walking through. This is my prayer now. This is my prayer for you. May you rise the ever of the Lord, your helper. May you find your refuge in the Lord, your shelter. May you find Him closer than a brother all your days and all of your days. May your eyes be ever on the Lord, your helper. May you find refuge in the Lord, Hello, Sasha. Thank you so much. I am fine, Sasha. It's good to see you, Sasha. I have a runny nose. So now we're gonna do the last song. And thank you so much again for David Lumberius. Thank you so much, David, my husband. Thank you so much for giving me the 200 Swedish krona. Nice, 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 nice. It's so nice. All right. Have you already received envelopes? No, I didn't receive it yet. I didn't get it yet because I did not reach the threshold yet. We should have the threshold and then we can get it. That's the thing. And let me see. Okay. Let me see is and just okay. Did you get your envelope, Sasha? I've heard thousand stories of what they think you like, but I've heard the tender whisper of love, the dead of night. You tell me that you're pleased and that never alone. You're a good, good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. Asking many searching friends, far and wide, but I know we're all searching for answers. Only you provide, because you know that just we need before we say a word. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are. You're a good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. Love's undeniable. I hardly speak peace. Oh, unexplainable. I can hardly think. As you call me deeper still, you call me deeper still, as you call me deeper still, into love. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. All right. So thank you so much, friends and artisans and saints. I thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for your kindness. And thank you, David, my husband, for your generosity to my channel. And I know that I can use this to enhance the channel, to continue art, and to even continue this sharing that I am doing now with you. And I am so much grateful for all the friends that even donated, aside from super chat, people are that are donating outside the YouTube channel. They are donating for the purpose of enhancing the Torah, or enhancing my art. I am so much thankful for your trust and for your faithfulness into this channel. I hope that I could give more time with you, and I hope I could share much more of what I have learned in art and in faith with you, and together we can do this journey. So I'm so much glad that all of you are here. So this is Grace Behind the Curtain. Shout out to you, Wanits and Godwill Siringwani. I am so much pleased to have you here. I am very much pleased to have you here, Brother Goodwill Siringwani. I hope to see you again the next Torah reading, and I am mostly uploading art and faith content. So most of the art that I do is about the Bible and about my prophetic visions on what I see and what I understand within the spiritual realm. And I hope, God will, Siringwani, that you and I and the community that you have can have a fellowship together with the women. I encourage that the women in your community will be encouraged about this topic and about the representation of the Torah in my life. I'm so much proud to present to you guys the miracles of God in my life and all of the good things that He's doing in my everyday life, the changes that is done within us, and the further things to come. I'm so much proud of the Shavuot feast and the festival things that happens within our surroundings can also reflect our life. So I'm so much pleased. I'm pleased that you are here. I'm glad, and thank you so much once again, my friends, for being here. Digital Fanboy, Josephine Gimoro, Madel Peterson, Isaiah Mamangon, Don Platon, one of our Russian friends as well, and our Russian friends over there, Privyet, and God bless to you guys. And it's me, Carlene, and Goodwill Sarangwani. Thank you so much, and one it's okay. All right. So we're reaching the end of the stream, and I'm so much grateful for having you here again. All right. So now we have come to the end of the Sabbath reading. So thank you so much, everyone, and I hope to see you again next time. So please don't forget to press like. If you are on Facebook, please press this like, because it also represents how much this content is meaningful to those people who are really waiting for the message. Press the like so that it continues to promote the word of God. It promotes the Torah. So people in YouTube, please press please press like. All right. Maybe I have to talk slow next time because I'm rapping here. All right. So I pray that all of you are in a good mindset and in a positive mindset. And I hope that you are filled with hopeful thoughts for the Lord. And in this kind of situation in our surroundings right now, I encourage you, my friends, saints, and artisans, to become faithful to God and do not allow your lips to complain, but be thankful of the things that's happening. Be thankful of the trials and be thankful of everything that we are experiencing. All right. So, okay, when it's, I'm gonna come to you later. All right. And all right. So, thank you so much, everyone. And for everyone who are interested of having a logo, I'm making up logos, and these are the logos that I do. These are the different channels that I did. And for people who do not know, just contact me. And if you want a signatured logo, you can also contact me so I can make it for you. And all the things that I earned in this channel goes to the uh, children in Philippines, and those children that I support and sends to school. And even we have this channel arts. So I represent to you the channel arts that are that I made. So you are much welcome if you are interested in these editions, and just PM me. And I have my Facebook on the YouTube about section. And if you want to contact me about different matter, for example, Bible studies and so on, you can contact me personally on my Facebook, or even in the description box below, I have my email. So just feel free. So once again, God bless you, and see you again for the next week, because in next week we will have, let me see, this whole month will be the book of Numbers. So for the next topic is Behalotecha, and this is my favorite, my all-time uh, theme logo, The Journey Begins. So I want to encourage you for the next week is The Journey Begins. All right. So God bless you, and hope to see you again.